Hello everyone, I'm Karen. Today I'm going to do the first of a new series, and this new series is called First Time Listens. Now a couple weeks ago I said in the channel I was going to do a new series called First Time Listens, and this is part of a new project I'm doing, First Time Listens on YouTube. And so this is the first series, which is going to include sort of a few albums I've listened to for the first time, and they're usually ones I've had for years and not listened to, ones I've bought recently that I've not yet listened to. So yeah, so they're in no particular order here, so I'm just going to crack down to it and do it. So the first one we have is Elton John and the album Sleeping with the Past. This came out in 1989, and it's a good album, I think. I really like Durban Deep, Healing Hands, Club at the End of the Street, Sleeping with the Past is good, Sacrifice, I Never Knew Her Name, and Blue Avenue as well. I think it's a really great album, I must admit. I know it's got a bit of like an 80s keyboardy kind of sound, but it's still like a really good album, I must admit. A lot of Elton's later albums don't really get a lot of attention that they should, but particularly a lot of the 80s ones. A lot of the 80s ones sound really good, and some of the later ones as well. But then again, Elton did put out some not very good stuff in the 80s or in the later years, in my opinion. But which I haven't yet heard, which I'll probably get down to. But so yeah, that's a good one there, great one there. Elton John, Sleeping with the Past. Next one is Pete Townshend and Empty Glass from 1980. Of course, Pete Townshend, guitars for The Who. I hadn't heard it for years because I bought it in Italy and I never played it until recently. I think it's a really good album. I love Rough Boys, Let My Love Open the Door, Jules and Jim, and the title track Empty Glass is great. So it's a good album, I must admit. You know, really good album. I really like Pete Townshend singing. Pete Townshend's got a good singing voice, as well as being a great writer for The Who and a great guitar player as well. You know, Pete has done a bit of vocals on Who records and doing an album of his own is pretty good, you know. So this is his second one. I haven't got any other Pete Townshend ones. This is the only one I've got, but hopefully I'll get some more maybe. So that's that one, 1980s Empty Glass. It's got a good like rock kind of punky sound to it, and it's quite a good album, that Pete Townshend, Empty Glass. Next one is Van Halen, 5150. This came out in 1986, and this was the first album to feature new frontman Sammy Hagar. And this is a really great album. I know Sammy Hagar is different to David Lee Roth, but I still like both him and David Lee Roth equally. You know, I do prefer David Lee Roth. Sammy Hagar's still good. But anyway, this had the hits Why Can't This Be Love? And I also love the songs like Dreams, Love Walks In, 5150, and Summer Nights as well. So there are a lot of good songs in here. I really like the songs from like The Inner Sleep because there's no like songs in the back. There were some weak moments in the album, but other than that, it was a great album nonetheless. Van Halen, 5150. Really great album there, 1986. Next up we have is Foreigner, Agent Provocateur. Foreigner are a band I've just kind of started listening to in the past couple of months, last few months. They've got a lot of great songs in here, and this was a really great album, I must admit. I loved I Want to Know What Love Is. That Was Yesterday. She's Too Tough. Down in Love, Two Different Worlds, and The Love in Vain was great as well. There was a lot of great songs in it. There were, again, a lot of these albums, there were some weak moments on them, but again, there were still loads of great songs nonetheless, and this was a really good one. Foreigner, Agent Provocateur, 1984. It was their follow-up to their big album 4, and it's a really great album. And next, the last one I'm going to show you is Elton John. The One. This came out in 1992, and this was a great return for Elton. He'd spent like 16 years since the 1970s taking drugs and doing alcohol. By the 1980s, his habit of drugs and drink was worsening, and then at the end of the 80s, the start of the 90s, in 1990 he finally decided he was going to get sober, and after taking 1991 off, he came back with an album in 1992, and it's a great return. I love Simple Life, The One, Whitewash Country, Emily is a great song as well. When a Woman Doesn't Want You is also great, and so is the last song as well, which is a really nice closer for the album. So yeah, it's a really great album, almost like a comeback for Elton in many ways. Although he hadn't really like disappeared, he only really stepped out of the public eye for most of 1991 and took a bit of a break, and then he made this album. So yeah, it's a really great album, this one. Elton John, The One from 1992. So there we go. That was it for the first edition of First Time Listens. This was for March of 2020. Hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, a lot of positive feedback for these albums. But throughout the course of this series, there's going to be times where I'll have to be a bit negative on some albums. Say what I like and don't like. I've been very rarely negative about some albums, the albums I've mentioned in here. But there are times where might need to be negative about a certain album, saying I didn't enjoy it as much or it was alright. But other than that, hope you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you again soon.